Follow us on all social media platforms. Shop theblackbookie.com. Shop our merch right here live on Millions as well, too. We got a lot to get into. Jam-packed Monday was a jam-packed weekend. A heartbreaking and a frustrating weekend for me as my Colts could not get the job done against the Texans. And then the Jaguars absolutely blowing it for us for our snooze lose pick yesterday. We have been red hot, though, to start 2024, 6-2 official to start 2024. So make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms, especially Twitter, to get our daily free play. But we had a bumpy start to end the year. I would say the 15th or so until a few days after Christmas, we were really struggling. But now we're seeing the board well. Like I said, 6-2 to start the year. I believe 7 and I forgot actually, but 6-2 definitely start the year. I know that's off the top of my head, but we've hit a couple plays also before that to end the year. So we're seeing the board well right now. I'm going to talk about 2 plays quickly in the beginning of the show, and then we'll talk about some NFL. If you can still get on it, I did personally take the Pacers tonight. I like Indiana in this revenge spot at home, more so because the line's telling me that. Now, could the Celtics come out again and absolutely beat the Pacers? Of course they can, but they've played each other twice already this year. The first time, Celtics absolutely blew them out, beat them by 50 points. Then the Celtics lost to Indiana in the in-season tournament. Celtics got revenge, which we took the Celtics on Saturday. They got revenge, won by 17. So they've beaten this team by 50, by 17, and then tonight they're only getting 3.5. I mean, that seemed a little suspect. And that was before the announcement that Jason Tatum wasn't playing. So I think this line, with how the Celtics have handled the Pacers, except for the one loss in the in-season tournament, even on the road, this line should be about 5-7 points like it was on Saturday. But this line came out last night at 3.5, dipped down to 2.5 some places, went back up. So I'm on Indiana tonight. That's not my official play. That's just a personal play I like. I just think the line is telling us that it's too good to be true. If you look at it, and like I just said, a team that's dominated another team beat them by multiple digits twice already this year, to only be getting 3.5, most people are going to look at that and say, oh, take the Celtics. It's just so easy. So I think the Pacers cover and possibly win this game tonight. No Jason Tatum for Boston. The line just seems a little too sneaky, seems like a trap. So I'm on Indiana. Not an official play, but that is a play I do like and I personally have some money on. I like the Pacers tonight. And like I said, could Boston come out tonight and absolutely blow them out again? Without a doubt. But I think the Pacers show a little fight, a little grit at home here tonight and get us the cover. But our official play to try and go 7-2 to start 2024, we are on the Wolverines. I'm talking about it early in the show because the game kicks off soon. So if you haven't locked in, I'm sorry, we're on the Huskies. If you haven't locked it in already, you still got some time. Kickoff is at 7:30 for the national championship. We are on the Huskies plus 4.5. Make sure you line shop. I've seen some places it's gotten to 5.5. I think FanDuel had it like 5.5. So make sure you guys line shop. But I am on it personally at 4.5. And for a few reasons. I'm hoping that there's a little bit of a distracting factor. I'm hoping there's a little complacency factor that helps us for Washington. I think Michigan could be a little bit distracted. There's been some talks of Harbaugh possibly taking the Chargers job in the NFL. Will he stay? Will he go? So there's been some talks of that. And complacency, what I mean by that is I'm hoping, it seems like, and I'm hoping, like I said, that the Wolverines beating Bama was their national championship. That meant a lot to them in the Rose Bowl to beat Alabama. You saw the look on their faces when they had to play Bama. In Selection Sunday, when they found out I had to play Bama, they looked shook. They came out, a lot of mistakes on special teams, trailed most of that game, was able to come back and take care of business in the fourth quarter. J.J. McCarthy talked about how the year before he sat and watched the other team celebrate when they lost in the Rose Bowl. Now he was able to make it back and win it and have a different feeling. So I'm hoping a little bit of complacency. I'm hoping that the Wolverines feel like the job is done. that they already won everything they needed to do. They proved what they needed to do, having to place Bama, winning the Rose Bowl. I'm hoping that they're a little complacent tonight. And in our favor, with the Huskies, everybody's on the Wolverines, right? They're the public favorite. Everybody expects them to win, like I talked about in one of our videos. People expect them to win because they took down Alabama and the way they did it and the season they've had. They've been phenomenal, without a doubt. They've had a great year. They had a target on their back. They dealt with adversity, with play stealing and suspensions and everything like that, and they just kept rolling along. But Washington has done the same. They have the longest winning streak in college football right now. You have Michael Penix Jr., who a chance for him not only to become a national champion, but to put on another big performance on a big stage to increase his draft stock. Let's not forget that. There's a lot of he's playing past college football tonight. He's looking to prove scouts and coaches and GMs that he could be the number one for an NFL team. So this is just bigger than a national championship tonight. So I like the Huskies plus 4.5 for the reasons I stated below. You can still lock that in. Make sure you guys line shop. There's a few fives out there, 5.5. They could win this game outright. Because if they could take care of the football, avoid the pressure, I see a lot of people saying, this is Michigan's going to roll them. This is their toughest defense they've had to play. And that is all true. But like I talked about, the difference between them and Bama is that they have a quarterback who not only is on fire and is balling and is playing for playing for an NFL contract. They have a quarterback that can get the ball out quickly. He's not going to sit in the pocket and let those front four, front seven blitz him and get after him. They just need his line to hold up for a second. Just give him a second to find his receivers, get the ball out quickly, dink and dunk, take a few chances downfield when they're there, and keep moving the chains. Like I said, Michigan has withstand a lot of adversity all year, but this Washington team has the longest winning streak in college football. They find ways to win. They keep winning under the radar. No one really has talked about them as much, and here they stand. So I'm hoping things go for us in our favor. J.J. McCartney, like I said, I hope that he felt like he did it already. Winning the Rose Bowl, he felt like he did what he was supposed to do to revenge last season losing in the Rose Bowl. And I'm hoping that comes back to haunt them tonight. So we're on the Huskies, plus 4.5. That game starts at 7:30. Lock that in. That's our official play. We're trying to go 7-2 to start 2024. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter, BetStamp, Sports Action Network, all our plays, Discord, where all our plays are listed. We're off to a good start. Last year in 2023, we went 20-8 to start January. So January's been pretty good to us. It's my birthday month as well, too, coming up later in the month. So last year and hopefully this year, January's been good to us. We want to keep that rolling. But that's our play tonight. Make sure you also follow my guy, Bet the House. He went 3-0 last week. He's on the Rangers tonight for his official play, _Bet the House _. He likes the Rangers money line tonight to bounce back off for a loss at home against Vancouver. So make sure you guys check him out. Like I said, he went undefeated last week, 3-0. So check him out. He's starting to get things going as well, too. We're rolling to start the year. And that's just how it goes. But let's talk about the NFL. Like I said, my Colts couldn't get it done on Saturday against the Texans. And this Texans team going to play the Browns. They now win the division and get a home game. And they'll play the Browns because the Jags couldn't get it done. Which, a game I don't even really want to talk about. It's sick to my stomach on how Jacksonville just blew that. Not only to, not just a situation where like the Dolphins, right? It wasn't a situation where you lost the game and it cost you the division, but you're still in the playoffs. The Jags lost the game, which cost them the division and cost them the playoffs. They're now at home over just pure stupidity, coming out slow. Trevor Lawrence, yes, he wasn't 100% healthy, but he was able to make throws early. And knowing that he wasn't 100% healthy, you needed to get a lead so you can use your running game. And then we got in a position where you still trailed and your defense made some plays and got you in a position to still be able to win the game. Who knows? They might have still lost in overtime, but you were still in a position to at least try and tie the game. And you put it in the hands of someone that's not 100%, who's not healthy. When you have a stud running back, you had opportunities to just run the football and put yourself in a position to play for OT. And just for a head coach, too, of Doug Peterson's caliber, just awful play calling down the stretch. In all facets. I mean, we talk about how, I mean, not we, but everybody's been talking about today how, Jameis Winston went rogue and he made the play call in the Saints game to run the ball with when they're in victory formation. Trevor Lawrence should have went rogue. We needed him to go rogue because the play call on 3rd and 2 was some of the dumbest decision making I've seen this year. I saw some pretty bad decision making from Dan Campbell earlier on Thanksgiving. But this one cuts the cake because your season was on the line. Like I said, it wasn't like the Dolphins. It's not like if you lost, well, at least you still got in. You're home. You're home. So even with your quarterback, who wasn't 100%, playing, coming out there, right, being gritty, coming, showing up for his teammates, knowing he's not 100%, being hurt and coming out and playing, and get into a situation where your defense gets a crucial turnover to help you get back in the game. He was also let down by his receivers too. Ingram can't drop that ball and force an interception, which turned the momentum of the game. Certain things like that can't happen. But to still be in that situation and the decision making we get, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You're on the 2-yard line. Put a hat on a hat, hit somebody in the mouth, and run the football. It's as simple as that. We don't need to be tricky. It doesn't need to be sexy because 6 points are 6 points. Give it to the fullback, give it to the running back, run somebody else. I would have even tolerated the stupid tush push. We didn't even try and do that. Just pure stupidity from the from the Jaguars, and it cost them their season. It cost them the division title, and now the Texans are continuing their season and division champs. And what a turnaround from them to be in a position where they're one of the worst teams in the league last year, drafting C.J. Stroud at 2 and going all the way to becoming division champs. Heck of a turnaround. But let's start with the games on Saturday in the wild card. We'll start with the Browns-Texans. So it'll be Cleveland versus Houston. And I love the way the Browns have been playing. I talked about this weeks ago when P.J. Walker was filling in for Deshaun Watson. I always thought Cleveland was a playoff team. We know they have defense. We know they're tough to play in the dog pound. But the problem for the Browns was P.J. Walker was not supposed to be the guy. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be the guy, and he wasn't getting it done. He ended up getting hurt, missing the rest of the season. And now the emergence of potential comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco, is taking this team to the playoffs. Now, where the advantage that the Browns have is the experience. They've been here before because as good as C.J. Stroud has been, he's still a rookie. The Browns have been here before. You have Myles Garrett. You have Amari Cooper. You have Joe Flacco. You have these vets that have been here before, that have been in these situations. But the problem for the Browns, too, also is they are not the same team on the road. They are much better at home. They're only 3-5 on the road. The Texans are 6-3 at home. The line right now sits at 2.5. And I lean slightly to Cleveland. Only because the experience, of course, as well. I just don't know how long the Texans can keep this up. Because even though they had a heck of a win against the Colts, they're still so banged up. There's so many injuries that they have. C.J. Stroud's been playing with half his receiving core, half his offensive line. They are fearless. They're playing with house money. They fear nobody. And they can win this game. But I lean Cleveland I think it's hard to keep patching up those spots where you're missing players. It's hard to keep doing that week after week after week after week. And eventually it catches up to you. I just think you have a Browns team also that's kind of playing with house money. I mean, Joe Flacco didn't expect to be here. He didn't expect to be starting a playoff game or starting a wild card game. He was the third string quarterback. He was just there collecting a check and trying to be a leader pretty much. But now here he is, like I said, in a position to be comeback player of the year. I lean Browns in this matchup slightly. And I think the line shows that too. The line's at 2.5, which is a close game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle. Stroud's going to have to use his mobility because Myles Garrett and company is going to be coming after him. But I lean slightly to the Browns because I just think it's going to be too much to keep having to fill in these holes with not having your star players on the line and wide receiver to help you get the job done. Dolphins, Chiefs, also on Saturday, the 8 o'clock game. Tyreek Hill versus his former team. You couldn't give me your own money for me to bet on the Dolphins. I wouldn't do it. And I've been telling you guys since week 5, maybe week 6, the Dolphins are frauds. They are frauds. They've been frauds. And I don't know when it's going to change. But they're frauds. And I've been telling you guys since that game where they put up 70 on the Broncos and then the following week lost, I've been telling you guys they are frauds. You know why? Because they can only win at home. They can only win in warm weather. All the trickery nonsense they do with their playbook. It's exciting, but it doesn't win games. It doesn't get the job done. They beat, to this day, we're going to the first round of the playoffs, wild card. They finished the season beating one team over 500, and that was the Cowboys. And they had to do it at home. That was the only team they beat that has over 500 record. They're frauds. They don't beat anybody of caliber. They can't win on the road. And now they didn't get the job done against the Bills last night in their own building, a division rival. And now they have to go to arguably one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL and try and win. And I just don't see it happening. They're 4-4 on the road this year. They've lost 2 straight. I don't see them coming in, flipping a switch. Now, the Chiefs are beatable. Don't get me wrong about that. This Kansas City team is easily beatable. They can't be beat. We've talked about this, the holes they have on offense. They're expecting Mahomes to do too much. But if there is a team that KC can squeak by, it's the Dolphins. It is definitely Miami. And I was surprised, Kansas City didn't really have anything to play for, so they rested players. But I was surprised that Travis Kelce didn't come out there. He had a streak of 7 straight seasons with 1,000-plus receiving yards on the line. He only needed 18. I'm surprised he didn't come out there, 2-3 catches real quick, maybe 1 for 20 yards and get out the game so you don't risk any injuries. I wonder who agreed. Yes, obviously, individual accolades are not more important than going deep in the playoffs and being healthy and trying to win a Super Bowl. But legacy is also important too. 7 straight years to do that as a tight end, is remarkable. And to have that thrown away for 18 yards, if he was 100 away, that'd be different. But 18 yards, I think he could have came in and played a quarter and tried to beat it. I'm very surprised that he sat the whole game and just let it go to waste. I would have been out there. And I'm sure he wanted to be too. I don't know if it was coaching, his decision, whatever. But to not be out there to get it for 18 yards, I was very surprised. But if there's any team the Chiefs can't get past, it's the fraudulent Dolphins. Sunday, you have Steelers, Bills. Nobody wants to play Buffalo right now. It's as simple as that. Nobody wants to play the Bills right now. Nobody. I'm not going to say I was wrong because it's still the first round. But, yeah, what a turnaround for the Bills. We have to give credit where credit is due, right? What a turnaround. If you saw the videos or the pictures, they absolutely came in last night and took over South Beach. It looked like a home game. They took over Miami. They had a 29% chance to make the playoffs in Week 10. And now here they are, division champs and the number 2 seed. We had reports come out and leaked audio of their coach saying inappropriate things that we thought would make this team collapse. They were already struggling. The playoff chances were thin. We thought that could be the breaking point, and they have just rose to the occasion. And no one wants to play the Bills right now. They were never a bad team, right? Buffalo was never – it was always Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Dolphins, if you want to throw them in. They were always a team that was supposed to be a contender. It's not like they came from nowhere. But the season that they were having, we stopped paying attention to them. A 29% chance to just get into the dance in Week 10. So with only 7 games left, we kind of started paying attention to them. We were like, well, we don't even know if Buffalo's going to make it. Forget being a contender. We don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. And now here they are. And they're going to kill the Pittsburgh Steelers. The line is 9.5. I probably will tease it down just to be safe, but I wouldn't be surprised they win this game by 2 touchdowns. Pittsburgh's just not going to be able to keep up offensively. And this is another reason why I was pissed that the Jags lost, because I didn't want to see the Steelers in the playoffs. I didn't want to see this offense in the playoffs. You lost T.J. Watt. We already knew they lost T.J. Watt before the Jags game. I didn't want to see Pittsburgh and the Steelers. No offense, Steelers fans, but I didn't want to see y'all in the playoffs. The game was going to be boring because, like, this game is going to be boring because you're going to get your teeth kicked. You're going to go into Buffalo, and you're going to leave out Buffalo wounded, battered, and embarrassed because the game's not going to be close, especially with the way the Bills are playing right now. It ain't going to be close. That's why you're 10-point dogs. It's not going to be close. No one wants to play this team right now, and especially not having T.J. Watt. We don't want to see the Steelers play, man. Come on. We don't want to see that. But congrats to Mike Tomlin, though, to able to keep his streak alive. 17 straight consecutive winning seasons. It's incredible, especially for African-American head coach, where there's very few in the NFL. So shout out to Mike Tomlin to be able to keep his streak going. But the Bills are going to absolutely steamroll the Steelers. There's no way about it. There's no doubt. That's a game where you might as well take a nap or, go to church or something like that, because it's going to be okay if you miss it, because you're not going to be missing much. I just don't see anything, any scheme, any plan that the Steelers can have to come in and try and slow down this Buffalo team, especially with the way they're playing right now. Packers, Cowboys. I'm rolling with the boys. Definitely rolling with the Cowboys. How could you not? 8-0 at home this year. This game's at home. They're just a different beast in Jerry World. They don't lose in that building, at least not this year. They don't lose in that building. Jordan Love has been getting better every single week. He's been looking more like a starting NFL quarterback every single week. He continues to get better. He came out yesterday and took care of business to get the Packers in the playoffs by beating the Bears. And the future's bright because when you watch him play, he has gotten better every single week. But I don't think he's going to have enough to come into Jerry World and beat a 8-0 Cowboys team that hasn't lost there yet this year. And I just can't see no way on God's green earth that can't get out the first round. He's got to at least get out the first round. So I just don't see the Cowboys losing this one. Once again, I just don't see the scheme and the plan and for them to be able to keep up offensively with this Cowboys team. I mean, even the game against the Bears, it was low scoring. Where's it at? What the heck? Yeah, 17-9. While Jordan Love has been playing better, he's not exactly lighting it up either. So I like Dak and company to take care of business. They don't lose in Jerry World. I just don't see Green Bay coming in and pulling off an upset. But Dak, the money he makes, got to get out the first round. It's as simple as that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Rams, Lions. Man, a lot of controversy around this one because we know now Detroit, one of their best players, Sam Laporta, is hurt, hyperextension, saying there's a chance he may play. But once again, even if he does, we know he's clearly not going to be 100%. So they're saying there's a chance he could play. The Lions really wanted this number 2 seed. They played all their starters. They lost their top punt returner too. He was injured. They lost a lot of players, a lot of key players, obviously besides Jared Goff. In this game, guys got banged up, and Dan Campbell took a lot of heat for it. But I'm gonna dig deeper. Let's dig deeper. Let's not forget, if Detroit is not screwed over in that Cowboys game, they don't have to play their starters in this one because they should already had the win they needed for the 2 seed. They should already had the 2 seed locked up. If they aren't screwed in that Cowboys game, this never happens. And that's the domino effect of this. The NFL said they're not going to change the reporting thing ineligible. They're not going to change how that's run, but those referees were demoted. They're not going to referee any or officiate any playoff games, and rightfully so, because it was a terrible job. It was clear as day. We saw the footage. There's no way around it. We saw that. It's on tape. We saw it. The Lions were screwed. But hey, they wasn't going to let Jerry and company lose on Jimmy Johnson night. you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? You got to pay to play. This is a game financially I want no parts of, though, because it really could go either way, in my opinion. I think Detroit, the building is going to be rocking, to be in the playoffs again for the first time in a long time. I like that the Lions can run the ball. That's going to be huge in the playoffs. 27 rushing touchdowns. That's a new franchise record this year. Being able to run the ball, control the clock, wear another team out, that's huge, especially in the postseason. But the Rams do have the 12th best rush defense in the league. We know Stafford against his former team. Goff against his former team. It's going to be a good game. So financially, this is one I probably won't touch. I'm just going to watch. The line right now sits at 3.5. I really don't have a lean either way. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I like one team more than the other, because I really don't. I think Detroit, maybe early. I think feeding off the crowd and feeding off the energy, come out, maybe get on the scoreboard early. But I want no parts of it. Let me know what you guys are thinking, but it's probably just going to be a game I'm going to sit back and watch. I really don't have a lean forward either way. And then the last game for Wild Card Weekend, which will be on Monday, Eagles-Buccaneers. And there is no team I've grown more hatred for in the last 6 weeks than the Philadelphia Eagles. As much as I've sat here every week with you guys for over 2 months, maybe even 3, where I told you guys the Dolphins are frauds, the Eagles fooled us. There was no point we thought the Eagles were frauds. The Eagles were 10-1. They were 10-1. We were saying it was Philly and San Fran all year to come to represent the NFC. It's going to be either the Eagles or the 49ers. And wow, just a fall from grace. No team has cost bettors so much money. Yesterday, I didn't bet on them because I had a feeling the Giants could win that game. With Tyrod starting the whole game, that's the only team the Eagles have beat in over a month is the Giants. And they had to do it with freaking Danny DeVito starting the game. If Tyrod started that last game in Philly too, they might have won that as well on Christmas. But Tyrod comes in yesterday, takes care of it. I mean, it wasn't even. There's just no life. They're blaming it on the head coach now. I mean, there always has to be a scapegoat. Unfortunately, I don't understand how you could lose the locker room that much from being 10-1 to then going 1-4 and the 1-5, whatever, in your last 6 games. It's baffling to me how bad they've become overnight. It happened overnight. They had us. It's hard to fool people for 10 weeks. You could fool us here and there. This ain't like they're the Falcons, where you could trick us for a few home games. You might be like, oh, okay, man, maybe. 11 weeks is hard to fool the people. And the Eagles were in positions not just to win games. We're talking about they lost the division. They now have a road game, have to go to Tampa Bay. All these things that they've choked away in the last 3 weeks, especially. All except for the game yesterday, the Seattle game, the Arizona game. They had double-digit leads. Double-digit leads with the division on the line. And now you have to go to Tampa Bay. I've grown a strong hatred for the Eagles over the last 6 weeks because it's insane. It is insane. The Seattle one I kind of took on the chin. It's part of the game. But blowing the cover against the Giants, and they were up 20-3, not covering that game. Blowing it to the Cardinals. Once again, up double digits in the fourth quarter and losing outright. You can't make it up. It's inexcusable. Well, like I said, with the division on the line, not just wins, we're not just talking about just to win the game. With the division on the line, it's inexcusable. It's disgusting. And I hope the Buccaneers win. I hope the Buccaneers win. And they, by all means, they can. They can definitely win this game. And knowing the Eagles, watch they come out and blow this team out. Because the one thing though, Tampa Bay struggles mightily offensively. I mean, we even saw it yesterday. They had to they beat the Panthers 9-0. I mean, it looked like a freaking baseball game. It looked like the Dodgers versus the Pirates. It was 9-0. It was disgusting. So the Bucks do struggle to score. I'm happy for Baker Mayfield to be back in the playoffs, to win, to be a winner. You know, you make it to the playoffs. You had a winning season. To be able to bounce back, you know, been a journeyman lately. To maybe find a home now and be in a situation where he's taking his team to the playoffs and a chance to get to the second round. But I hope they lose. I absolutely hope the Eagles lose because it's insane what they've done over the last month and a half. It's insane. But I appreciate you guys. We're going to get ready for this national championship. Washington plus 4.5. That's our play. Let's put some money in the account. 6-1 to start the year. 6-2 to start the year. Trying to make it 7-2 tonight. Would have been 7-2. Would have been 7-1 actually if the Jags didn't shit the bed. But I appreciate you guys. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. As always, in the words of the icon Billy Walters, I've had some losing weeks. I've had some losing months. Never had a losing year. Snooze or Lose podcast. Till next time.